Hi everyone, today's a little question called word brick. So given a string and the dictionary of string word, we want to check if that string can be partitioned into substrings or provided into the word dictionary. And let's check how the question means example 1. So example 1 has string equal to Leetcode, and the word dictionary is leet and code, right? So you see we can exactly partition the string using leet here and code here. That's why I return true. Example 2 here we have apple, pen, apple, and the word dictionary only has apple and pen, but since we are allowed to reuse the dictionary word, if we took apple here, and apple here, and a pen in the middle, then we can finish the task. That's why I return true. And example 3 we had cat and dog, right? Sorry, it's cats and OG. But here in the word dictionary, we only have cats and no OG. That's why we turn false indicating we cannot segment the strings according to strings provided in the dictionary. Okay, now we should the problem introduction. Let's think about how to solve the problem. So in this problem, we're using the dynamic program approach, and let me use a graphical drawing with this example 1 on the right side to show you how it works. Okay, so remember our string example 1 is Leetcode, right? And our word dictionary, let's say it's WD, and this one is leet and code. Okay, and for most dynamic program questions, fundamental thing is to initialize a dynamic program array, right? So in this question, we initialize dynamic program array with a length of string +1. So this length 8, so this length should be 9. Now let's think about how to set the initial value, right? Since this question we're finding if we can finish the task, so we can either return true or false, and the base case should all be false, except the first element which is set to true, right? So that 1 true and 8 false. Okay, now finish the initialization dynamic program array. Let's run the pointer in the string to find out the result. So before run the pointer, let's think about the logic for updating the dynamic program array. So let's say we have pointer j at here and I pointer here. If we can finish at j, which means dpj is true, right? And if, so this is the first condition, if the string between j and I is in the word dictionary, this means we can successfully go from j to I, right? So if dpj is good and the process from j to I is good, this means dpi is good, right? So I want to set a dpi to true. Okay, now we are clear with the logic for how to updating this dynamic program array. Let's actually run the 2 pointer here. So initially set I to here, as I mentioned before, the j to here. And at this location, first one to find is dpj is true, right? Of course, dpj is true, it's good. And the string between j and I, since Python, this one only contains a single L letter, and this one is obviously not in the dictionary, right? So I'm going to skip this case and move the I pointer to the next position. Okay, now I pointer is moved to this position, j pointer is still at this location. Now we want to keep checking. So this one is still true, but this one is still not good, right? Because LE is not in dictionary. Now let's move j pointer to the next position. So now j pointer here, but if j pointer here, the first condition is not satisfied, so it immediately skips this condition and move the I pointer to the next position. Okay, so now the I pointer move to here, and j pointer have to start from the beginning, right? So this one should be changed to true. So this one good, but this LEE is not in the dictionary. That's why we had to skip this pass. And again, if we the j pointer maybe to this position, on this position, since the first condition cannot be satisfied, we immediately skip all these conditions, right? Okay. So let's move the I pointer further to the next position. Now that pointer is moved to this C. Oh, sorry for my poor drawing. This one should be C, not O. Okay, this is C. And this should be I. Now the J pointer should be start again. So this one should be set to true, right? And now I want to check again. Okay, the string between J and I is this lead, right? And is this lead exist in dictionary? Of course, we have this lead in dictionary, right? This means we have to set the DPI equal to true. and the DPI is the fifth element, so we set this one to true. Okay, change this 4 to true. Okay, then I want to keep moving J to the next position, but you see whether J is here or here. You here, since the first condition cannot be satisfied, all these conditions will be skipped, right? So we have to skip all these conditions and move I to the next position. Okay, now I is here, and if you search for J in all these scenarios, we cannot get. And again, if move I to next position, so this position, then move J, sorry, this is I, then move J across all these range in one be satisfied, right? And then we'll move I to this condition and move J across this orange it cannot be satisfied also. But here the final scenario to consider: if we move I out of this string, so I here, the index up this E, right? Then if you set J at beginning, then it will not be good because this entire Leetcode is not contained in the word dictionary. But if keep moving J, so keep moving all the way to this position, what happen? If that the case, the Sj to I is this code, right? And this code exactly what contained in the dictionary. That's why I want to set this I to true. So this the last element in the dynamic program array I should set to true. And then you keep moving J to here or here, and here it want to satisfy the result. So we skip all these scenarios. Okay, now finish the entire thing. The only thing we want to check is, can we finish the dynamic program array, right? And how can we check can we finish? Well, if the last element in the dynamic program array is true, this means we have successfully go from the first element to the last element, so we want to return true. And otherwise, if this one maybe is false, this means we cannot finish, so we have to return false. Okay, now finish the graphical explanation. Let's start the coding part. So first thing we want to do is to initialize dynamic array with the first value set to true and all others set to false, and multiply the length, so string. And now I want to traverse through the string, right? And then we also want to traverse through uh, another pointer through I, so for j in range I. And if we found, okay, dpj is true, this means the starting condition is good. And the string from j to I is good, this means, okay, the process is good. So this one is in the dictionary. So copy this to what dictionary here. If the starting is good, the process is good, this means the result should be good. So result DPI should be set to true. Okay, then finally return DP minus 1. If DP minus 1 is true, this means we have successfully finished task, and otherwise we have not finished all the way to the end. Okay, now let's submit the code to see it works. Oh, sorry, what happened? Oh, here should be length as +1 because Python indentation works. Okay, you see the time capacity memory usage of this solution is not bad, right? And I think the code is very short and easy to understand. If you find this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.